I'm going to tell you my first travel ever. That was my first year in college, my first summer break actually. My hometown is in Guangzhou in southern China. I went to college in Beijing, and in the first summer break, instead of like take a train directly home, I decided to visit every city. I decided to hop the coast of China and visit every city. I didn't have much money then, but I decided to take the risk and do that. So that started my vagabond travel. The first city I went to was Qingdao. So you must have heard of that city, right? Qingdao beer.
Right.
Okay. Qingdao, it's a coastal city, famous for its beer and for its beach. I was so poor I couldn't afford a normal hotel, so I ended up in a makeshift hotel that was converted from an elementary school for 1 yuan, which is like 15 cents. I can stay there for a night. Basically what they do is they pull all the pupils' desks together, put 2 desks together, and that's your bed. And they give you a pillow and a quilt, and that's 1 yuan. And they offer like breakfast as well, they include breakfast. It turned out the breakfast was basically very dense, not dense at all. That's like rice soup that you can count how many grains in it, like maybe 10 grains. Yes. So, but during the breakfast, I was surprised to saw a young girl there. She's very different from other Chinese girls. For one, her hair wasn't black. Her hair was like brown, and her skin was very fair, and her eyes big and rounded, unlike my slanty eye. And then her nose is tall. She looked very different. So I'm curious where she come from. So I approached her and asked her, "Where are you from?" And she said she was from Hong and she went to Shanghai Ethnic University. Right there, I knew that she was an ethnic minority from Western China, from the Muslim area of China. Anyway, we took a liking to each other, and she was traveling with a gang of classmates to Beijing from Shanghai. Right? She was from Shanghai Ethnic University, and she decided that she's going to hang out with me instead of her classmates. So she followed me to the beach the first day after we did our rice soups, and we rented our swimsuits. Back then, and it was to my surprise that she got this 2-piece swimsuit. That is the bottom and the top. It was much to my surprise and delight. No, but first is surprise. First is surprise, not because she's Muslim, and because I didn't know at the time that like her hometown would later become a hotbed of fundamentalism in China. It was happened later because the city was very close to Afghan, so it was influenced by fundamentalism over there. Back then, it was not because it was Muslim girl, because back then Chinese girl never wear that revealing clothes at all. In the past, I've told some of you that China 30 years ago was like Saudi Arabia without the religion, right? It was like that. So it was to my surprise that she did something that no Chinese girl would do. And then we walked into the water, and the wave was kind of strong, and then a big wave crashed into her, and she screamed. And when I wiped the salty water from my face and look at her, she was like hugging herself like this and just gestured over there. Look, look, look. And I saw that, well, her top has dropped off. And it was sinking in the water, and then I dived valiantly to save her bra from drowning. Yes, and I even put it back on her, have her put it back and put it up. I forgot a lot of details, but that part I remember vividly after 30 years. And then in the evenings, we decided to hang out in a pagoda right by the ocean side. Right, it was the ocean breeze was actually chilly, and then we huddled together, and then we share stories, our dream, our study and her hometown. I was very curious about her hometown because it's so different from any Chinese city. And I feel that time just stopped for us. And I feel that the world doesn't exist outside of this little pagoda. And we huddled together and then before we know it, dawn has arrived. And we hurried back to our elementary school classroom to catch a nap. And then it was our first day together, and we kind of repeat ourselves for 3 days. We hang around together for 3 days. And by the third day, I'm ready to go south to Shanghai, and he's ready to go north to Beijing. And he asked me, "Can you come with us to Beijing?" And I hesitated for a moment and told her that no, I'm going to keep my original plan. I'm heading south, going home, hugging the coast and go home. So we changed address basically, because at the time there was no email or anything else. We changed address and we say goodbye. That was the first time we never, for the 3 days we were together, sex never crossed my mind. But after I went home, I thought that was delightfully pleasant to be so close to a woman. So the next semester when I go back to school, I start to look for a girlfriend. That's my first travel story.